going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I'm going to walk through you guys the best brawlers, compositions, and everything to use for you to get Melodie for free. If you've already got Melodie, you'll get 500 credits. You also get up to 11 star drops if you get these 12 wins. So there's a lot on the line. You also only have 4 lives, so you really want to make sure that you're winning this, and it will cost you gems to purchase more lives if you do lose those. So again, you really want to make sure you're getting those 12 wins before losses. So this also starts tomorrow. You'll see this in game and lasts until January 29th, so make sure that you're logging in and completing this challenge. And if you guys need any teammates, make sure to comment in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So we're going to be starting off at Gem Grab Hard Rock Mine. So here are the best picks and everything on the screen right here. So in terms of Hard Rock Mine, of course, Gem Grab early stages, you got to think of a bunch of aggressive brawlers. So in terms of your best mids, there's about 3 that I like. You've got Gus and Penny. They do lack some DPS, especially against tanks. You might be facing off against like Franks, Jackies, etc. So you could go with like Lou in the middle. Lou is actually used a lot in competitive play in the mid and Gem Grab as well. I think it's highly unlikely that you're probably going to face like a more convenient mid. For example, like the only tough matchups you probably face off against Lou is maybe like a Piper or something weird like that, but that's just not that good in Hard Rock Mine anyway. So yeah, go one of those brawlers. I recommend going Lou. And then in terms of your lanes, you've got a lot of good options. So the best lanes, I think, have to be Rico and Buzz Lightyear Saber mode. All the modes are pretty decent, but Saber mode's just better overall because the super is just so good to launch yourself onto the gem carrier. And of course, it's Buzz Lightyear. Rico's insane with the vision gear and everything like that. You've also got other brawlers like Stu, Sandy, Surge, Ruffs, and Juju. And if you're playing with randoms, the brawlers that I recommend playing the most are brawlers like Lou, because you can play Lou as a mid or a lane, and he really shuts down them tanks in the early stages. Rico, again, he can just absolutely carry, and the same with Buzz Lightyear, but it's stage number 1. You shouldn't be too threatened by it. So moving on to set number 2, we've got Backyard Bowl Brawl Ball. Here are your best compositions, picks, and everything on your screen right here. So Backyard Bowl probably is a little bit of a weirder one. I don't really like a Backyard Bowl because it's super passive and actually pretty hard to score, so do bear that in mind. You're probably going to get some really long games. The only way that you're going to score on this map is either if you have wall break or if you manage to kill all 3 players on the same team, and it should be pretty easy to score after that. So the best composition in my mind is probably something like Stu, Amber, and Penny. A little bit of a weird one. I mean, you can go with like Buzz Lightyear laser mode as well, but in my eyes, this is pretty good because Penny is good as like a mid or a lane. The turret's going to get so much value with the hypercharge. It's good into everything, and you're not going to face off against throwers on this map, which are our biggest counters. So that's why I really like the Penny. Stu's good into everything, even into tanks. He can just feed a lot of hypercharge from them, so Stu is really good. And then Amber, again, Amber's good into everything, good against tanks and just an all-rounder. So I really like Amber in the meta. In terms of other picks as well, I went with Janet. So Janet's like a good medium range brawler. The gadget's actually really good for helping push up against the wall and pushing the opponent's back. Super really good as well, and hypercharge as well. Gus, I would be a little bit careful of going like multiple brawlers with low DPS. You got to make sure that you've got everything covered when you're playing this, because again, you don't know what you're facing off against. You could be facing off against like triple tank, so you got to make sure that you're not going like too low DPS brawlers. So that's why I didn't go with like Gus and Penny, for example. Stu and Penny is still like another low DPS, but they can farm a lot of supers from those brawlers. And then you've got the likes of Lou. Again, if you're scared of facing off against those aggro brawlers, Luke is still a really good pick. I know it's more longer range, but it's just Lou. He's just solid. You've got Max, Belle, Lola, and B. I really like B on this as well, so you could easily change out, I don't know, like a Stu or an Amber. Put B in the middle, put Penny, Stu, or Amber down one of the lanes, and you should be good to go as well. B's just really good on Backyard Bowl, always has been. And then in terms of randoms, again, I would actually probably go like B or Penny or Stu. One of these 3 brawlers are going to be your best carry potential. So now moving on to Safe Zone Heist. These are your best composition and picks on your screen right here. So the best composition by far in my mind is going to be Chuck, Melodie, Claire. These games are going to go by so fast and there's no room for any mistakes. So of course Chuck is just Chuck. He's absolutely insane on Safe Zone, so make sure you're pushing down the left hand side first. You can go with the trick where you can hit the high safe twice. It's a little bit harder to pull off though, so if you're not the best Chuck, just throw your one of your poles on the safe through the left side. Again, make sure you throw one just above the first lake, and then another one just above the second lake, and then of course that last one on the high safe, and then you should be just good to go from there. That's just a basic setup, and then just keep going back and forth. Melodie, of course, with a hypercharge, absolutely insane. Do I need to say any more? Again, just make sure that you're trying to be as aggressive as possible. Get onto the safe with the hypercharge and you'll delete it, and collect with the hypercharge as well. Good at defending, then using your supers onto the high safe, hypercharge onto the safe, absolutely insane. In terms of other brawlers, Colt's really good because, again, you know, if you can just get like a couple of kills, people don't really regard their life too much, so like 2-3 kills, and then you can just melt the safe with Colt. So I love Colt on this. You've got Juju, but again, this might be a bit too fast-paced for Juju. Penny's very, very good on safe zone with a turret, and good at defending, good at pressuring. Put that turret down the left-hand side, and the opponents won't be able to do anything into it. You've got 8-bit. Eve is very, very good on safe zone right now. Angelo and Crow as well. So if I was playing with randoms, I'd be going something like Penny, because again, Penny can defend, Penny can attack with the turret. Melodie, if you want to get the game over with quickly and just constantly pressure, then go with her. And then Colette. So in my mind, the biggest tip I can say is try not to defend too much. I know, of course, if you're under a lot of pressure, you have to defend, but you always want to make sure that there's one brawler at least on the offensive, because if you're just spending the whole game defending, you're not going to have enough time to get onto the safe. So just bear that in mind. So these are the best for heist. Okay, so now moving on to the fourth and final set, we have out in the open knockout. So your best picks and your compositions on the screen right here. So there are two kind of avenues you can go on this map. You can, of course, go the Kit Cheesy strategy, where you go Kit and Daryl, and then just maybe like another healer or just another brawler, any brawler really. Besides them, you can go like Byron and Jean to maybe offer some support, but you can just go anything with those two brawlers. So if you are going that composition, just be aware there's a few counters, but the way that you got to play it is both Kit and Daryl kind of just got to hide down the bottom right. Again, you don't really need to push up, and then of course once Daryl gets super, Kit jumps on top of Daryl, and then you can just go in. Most of the time it's just too much for the opponents, and they probably won't have a counter against that. And then again, like the third brawler, should just try and defend them. In terms of other strategies as well, and if you're scared of facing off against that composition, well, there's a couple of brawlers that are really, really good against it. You've got RT, for example, who can be really good with the split. You've got Pearl as well, who can shred them. You've got the likes of well, who's just got on this map, Brock. He can open up that backspace area and just allow you more pressure on the map and more spaces to get out of spawn. You've got Piper, of course, Angelo, Eve is very, very good, Juju, Pearl, Mandy, Gus. There's a lot of options on out in the open, but again, it's whether you want to go with the cheesy strategy or the sniper strategy. I would say most people are probably comfortable still with the snipers, but the cheesy strategy does work really well, especially if you've been playing it on ladder a lot already. And if you're playing with randoms only, I would actually go Pearl. Pearl is so good once you just heat up, use the gadget to confirm kills on so many of those snipers, and of course really good at shredding through tanks. And then you've got Piper and Gus. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you get on in the comment section below, but pretty straightforward, I believe. Again, if you've already got Melodie, you'll get 500 credits, so still pretty good, especially for people that are trying to get alien fame. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.